Walk with
Why do the
me.
heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the I Am and his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast their cords away from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and the I Am shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak to them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet if I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, I will declare a decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day I have begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and the othermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the I Am with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest the I Am be angry, and ye perish from the way. When his wrath is kindled but a little, blessed are they that put their trust in him. Psalms chapter 3, verses 1 through 12. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Jubilee chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you on TikTok and YouTube platforms. I'm T Clay 213 on TikTok, and I'm Mr. Clay on YouTube. Yes, and if you're not receiving any notification or any type of mail or whatever that I have posted or created a video, and you desire to view that video, then you can go on YouTube and you can look up Mr. Clay, go to my history, and then from there you can access that video from my playlist. It has the different books. And also on YouTube, you can go to my history, or should I say my profile on TikTok. And it will be the first one to the left, top left. And that would be today's video. Now, apparently there are some things that are happening that these videos are not getting to those who have subscribed. It's not that the fact that you have to like them, it's the fact that you might want to view them. And we thank God for you and you. And also we thank God for those of you that have joined us from the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and there about, and we thank God for you, and we thank God for those of you who have just subscribed or followed. We thank God for you, and we thank God for you that are about to subscribe or follow. Yes, we call those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we're in the book of Jasher, the book of Jasher. Yes, a very interesting book. I mean, there's some things that come out in Jasher. If you've been following, there's some things that come out in this book that are not disturbing, but they're enlightening. And we're about to explore a lot of things that are not in the 66 books, that are in these books that are so shunned by the mainstream religions. And we're in the book of Jasher, and we ended with verse 18 of chapter 13. Yes, verse 18, I believe that was verse 18 of chapter 13. Yes, verse 18, as you prepare, of verse 17 of 16, we talked about the title King of Goyim. Now that is a Yiddish word, Goyim, which they would call us, Goyim. Now the king of Goyim made a covenant with them, and they were all obedient to his commands. Now we're in verse 17, and it reads, and it was in the 15th year of Abraham's dwelling in the land of Canaan, which is the 70th year of the life of Abram. Now here he is 70 years old. And the I Am appeared to Abram in that year. Abraham had to go through some some things. Just going through from a child even to his 70th year, he's seen nothing but just trouble. And, there were some good times that he could have with his wife, Sarai, but yet he's seen trouble. Now, Abram and the I Am appeared to Abram in that year that he said to him, I am that I am, who brought thee out from Ur Kasdim, to give thee this land for an inheritance. What land? Now therefore walk before me and be perfect, and keep my commands, for to thee and to thy seed will I give this land for an inheritance from the river Mitzrayim to the great river Euphrates. Now he's talking about the width. Now we know, you go from Cairo, that's where the river Euphrates, should I say the Nile River, or the river that flows unto Mitzrayim. It wasn't named Egypt. That was named by the Arabs or either the Caucasians. Now, here we go again. He said to the Euphrates. The river Euphrates also goes on the other side of what they call Arabia, or that whole peninsula type deal. Now, you're talking about if you go from the Nile River and you go all the way down or up the Nile, which is south, you're going to find that you're going to get all, before that peninsula ends, you're going to get all the way to where Djibouti is, Djibouti, Africa. You're going to get all the way down to there, right around Kenya, and then you're going to go over, and then you're going to be, down to the southern parts of India. You're going to be around that area. Now, this is where some say the tribes that's in South Africa, they call themselves being one of the lost tribes of Israel, or Levites, or whatever. But God knows His own. All we know is that. But the fact is that we have to look at it. Even though people call themselves different tribes, it's good that people are serving God and obeying His commandments and doing the things, because that doesn't not disqualify you. Matter of fact, it makes you more qualified when you do the things that God asks you to do, or He commands you to do. If you want to be with Him and then you believe His way and you want peace. And also they had to cross over from the Red Sea into Djibouti and go down during that Roman time where they destroyed the temple of Solomon, or should I say the temple that was built in that time, and many of them had to escape. For truly the prophet said that there would be no stone upon another, and that was true. And we can see that through, if you go to Google Maps and you look up Tel Arad, or Tel Arad, you will see Jerusalem, right? The temple right there. I mean, you'll see the sanctuary, the holies of holies is there, and everything is there. And if you want for more information, you can go to one of the YouTube channels. Brother, he shows everything. Just type in the real Jerusalem, and you'll see a brother. He has dreads and everything, and he will show you different parts and what it means, and show biblical reference to everything that he says, which is good. Whereas many of the other claimants have no biblical reference, or no reference at all, that really makes sense. But regardless, let us continue. He said, now from Mizraim to the great river Euphrates. So that's over into Euphrates. You just look it up on Google Maps, Euphrates River, okay? It's there. All right, now you say that whole land that they call Arabia or Middle East, that belongs to Israel. The southern part was the southern kingdom, and the northern part was the northern kingdom. That was during the split. But that was a split. The whole land is Israel. It's just the fact that God have allowed the doleful creatures and those who are not his to occupy it. And all they have basically there is nothing but desert. And it's a struggle to try to fight the desert when that land had once, during that time, had thrived with greenery and trees and many things. But let us continue. And verse 19, and thou shalt come to thy fathers in peace in good age, and in the fourth generation shall return here in this land, and shall inherit it forever. And Abraham built an altar, and he called upon the name of the I Am who appeared to him. And he brought up sacrifices upon the altar. Now, this person that appeared to him was an angel of presence. No man had ever seen the face of the Most High. No man. There are 24, whom Revelation says there are 24 elders, but that's not true. There are 24 angels that sit before the Most High. Just like a king would have his royal, should I say, you can compare it as to a king would have his courts and his governors and his people, his messengers that would be around as he dictate and edict to those places where he would like for those things to go, or the messages that he liked to send. And they would speak verbatim. And some would say the king said, and some would not even say the king said. Didn't I say to you? It's like God is speaking through them. So we have to pay attention to who's speaking to us and in what name they're speaking. And if the fact is, many of us know whether that spirit or that voice is true by the things that they reveal that we already know. Now, he said, now thou shalt come to thy father in peace. And let us go a little further. And he brought up sacrifices upon the altar to the I Am. And at that time Abraham returned and went to Haran to see his father and mother and his father's household. And Abraham and his wife and all belongings to him returned to Haran. And Abraham dwelt in Haran 5 years. Okay, that's 75. And many of the people of Haran, about 72 men, followed Abram. And Abram taught them in the instructions of the I Am. In other words, he had Bible study. He had not Bible study, he had book study. There's really no such thing as this Bible. I mean, there are books. These are just people who've come and they've translated it and they throw this so-called thing we call the Bible, and they throwed it together, glued it and bound it, and now that has become everybody's go-to. They've made you to forget all other books. And sometimes they would even break them down. One was a slave Bible. One would just be by the New Testament by itself. And then one would be the Apocrypha, and then, and so forth and so on. Some, even the books of the Bible, they've broken them down to just saying the book of Isaiah, the book of Ezekiel, just by one little pamphlet or book or whatever you would call it. Yes. And he said in those days, he says now, he taught these men. He taught them, and he went to Haran, and he sit there, and he just taught the men the ways of the Most High. He had the scrolls that was handed him from his fathers, Shem and Noah, and he just blessed all the way. And he says now, therefore arise and go forth from the place, thou, thy wife, and all belong to thee, every one born in thy house. I'm in verse 24. And all the souls that thou have made in Haran, and bring them out with thee from there. In other words, in the 66 books, it'll give you a straightforward answer. And arise and return to the land of Canaan. Now, the land of Canaan really is the Middle East. That's the whole land of Canaan, really, is what they would call it. The whole Middle East is from this description and this narrative is Israel in its entirety. That whole peninsula, all the way from the top, from Cairo, Egypt, all the way over to, should I say, almost to Saudi Arabia. You're going all the way down. Even you have Yemen, and all these places are occupied by Arabs. They're occupied because God has really been angry with the children of Israel. And many of them had to flee. the northern and southern kingdoms, with the southern kingdoms leaving first because of Jeroboam, who have caused really much havoc. Now, and Abraham in verse 25, Abraham rose and took his wife Sarai and all belonging to him and all that were born to him in his house and the souls which they had made in Haran, and they came out to go to the land of Canaan. And Abraham went and returned to the land of Canaan according to the word of the I am, and Lot, the son of his brother Haran, went with him. And Abram was 75 years old, and he went forth to Haran and returned to the land of Canaan. And he came to, now 5 years he was teaching people the word of the Most High. He was teaching. Now, according to the word of the I am to Abraham, and he pitched his tent and he dwelled in the plains of Mamre. Now, there's a Mamre in South Africa, sure. How did that name get there, we don't know. But there's a Mamre. Many names have been changed by colonizers, by different places to confuse us, even by those who say they're Jews and are not. Names have been changed to switch things around so you won't get it. But this is what it is. They know what they were doing. Then he came to the land of Canaan according to the word of the I am to Abram, and he pitched his tent, and he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, and with him was Lot his brother, son, and all belonging to him. And the I am again appeared to Abram and said, to thy seed will I give this land. And he there built an altar to the I am who appeared to him, which is still to this day in the plains of Mamre. There's an altar in the plains of Mamre. That's not a plain down there in South Africa, not really. So you have to go by the land that they described, and you have to go by the biblical description of what they're describing. Now, sometimes God would burn something and it would not be burned. Look at the bush. Sometimes even the angel during the time, if you read about Solomon and his mother and father, who saw an angel and they thought it was God and they wanted to make an offering to him. He said, no, don't do this. No, you make that to God. I'm not, he was really saying, I'm not God. But when they got ready, they prepared the offering because God saw their hearts. The Thanksgiving offering, when they prepared it and put it upon the wood and about to burn it, the angel turned into a flame of fire and went into this fire that they have set and then swooped up into the sky. Yes, and our sky daddy, he got it. Yes, from some of you who call him Sky Daddy. Yes, I love that Sky Daddy. Very good. Good. All praises to him. Now, his name is Tata Nzambi, Sanini Nanini, Yahweh, Yahuwah. Yes, all praises to his name. Blessed be his name. Yes. And we're going to stop right here at the 28th chapter of the 13th chapter, 28th verse of the book of Jasher. And with that, we're going to say peace.